gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Sippin' Sports. And as you guys can see, there's an unfamiliar face wearing some shitty merchandise there on your right side. KJ, you want to go ahead and introduce your friend?
Yes, the legendary, the legend himself, all the way from Long Island, New York, Matt Burr.
What's going on, guys?
Oh my goodness. I never thought that we would bring a New Yorker on this show, but there's a time and place for everything. That's the theme of 2024. But Matty B, how's your trip to Philadelphia been? Why don't we kick off the show and why don't you tell everybody what you just invested in and KJ and your little story about yesterday.
All right, so yesterday I went to the two team stores, the Phillies and the Eagles, and I came up with some steals.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
Yeah.
Hold the fuck on. Some steals. Look at what the fuck you're wearing. Look at your shirt, Matt.
I know.
Some steals? What the hell does that mean? Can you elaborate?
So at the Phillies team store, here KJ's getting them. I got for $80.
$85. $85.
For $85, a Bryce Harper.
$85 on your rival team?
Bryce Harper powder blue jersey.
Yeah. The better version.
That's a great. I'll wear mine today, Matt. If you wear yours to the event, we can take a pic together, and I can say I got this Mets fan to spend $85 on this Phillies jersey.
I'm gonna surprise you, but then you freaking decided, okay, I'm just gonna make him want to just wear the Phillies jersey now, and just.
I'm gonna just see into the future, and that's so Raven it, right?
It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna see Philly Matt in full effect, but then show him this too. He isn't an Eagle anymore, unfortunately.
Sadly, he's not an Eagle anymore.
But he's a Chet now.
This was $40.
That's a steal.
Yeah, $40.
So you're gonna turn it into a Huff jersey? I would keep it a Reddick jersey if it was me.
I got this for my little sister. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you're converting the whole family now.
I'll get one for my dad too. I don't know how well that will go over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have to sleep outside, right?
I don't know. His dad just seems his dad seems like.
You know what I was gonna do?
My dad would make me sleep outside.
And have you put it on the back of my dad's truck.
I was thinking of doing that. I was thinking of actually putting an Eagle sticker on Mr. Bear's car. I was thinking of it.
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, let me know in the comments. Do you guys think it's okay or acceptable to buy another team's merch? I personally would say no. Sam Nelson, let us know what you think. Do you think it's okay or acceptable? I don't, but hey, to each their own fans, especially a rival. That's what cracks me up the most. But Matt is still a friend of ours, a friend of KJ's. We're very excited to see him today and hang out. I was going to save this for the end, but we might as well just talk about it now because we're already hinting at it. But today we're going to Philly Sports Guys event at 2 o'clock. The three of us will be there. It's a wiffle ball tournament. And it's going to be a whole bunch of fun. I think Charlie Manuel is going to be there. I know Crucker's going to be there, signing autographs, taking photos, all kinds of good stuff for great cause. So come out and help us benefit. I guess it would now be the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles Autism Challenge because the one was last week, unless they're still collecting. I don't know how it works, but pretty freaking cool, pretty freaking exciting. So how are you guys feeling about this event today?
Oh, it's always a great event. Yeah. It's always an honor. And Matt's been coming every year to this event, I think since
what, 22?
Yeah, I think, or 21. Did you come the first year?
No, I didn't come the first year.
The second year.
You had me on your phone.
The second year he came, and that was awesome.
Ever since I've been coming.
And tell them the story that happened, who you got to watch a Sixers game with.
Oh, yeah. We watched the Sixers game with Jordan Mailata.
Yeah.
At the one in 2022.
Yep, that was right. Yes, that was pretty
awesome.
sick. He does this a lot. He mutes himself.
Sorry. I had the bike pump on in the background, but that is true. I forgot about that because I remember I was so upset. I didn't get to meet Malata because I had to leave early because my little sister had her sapphire ball for her sorority, like an event that we all had to go to as a family. So I had to leave at like 3:30, and then Malata shows up at 4. I get pictures from all my buddies with Malata. I'm like, damn it. I could have met Malata. So that's also one thing about the event too, guys. Yeah. Sometimes you get surprises. Sometimes you get like people that are not on the menu that just show up. So I'm sure there'll be a couple of those today too.
The only one.
I think there'll be more people showing up. I do think it is going to be. It might not be as crowded as it usually is because it is Memorial Day weekend, and obviously a lot of people are at the beach or there are other places. So a lot of people have other obligations, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a great event. I mean, if you guys can make it, it's at Dolan's Bar in Ridley Park. So go there. PSG will be there, and if you just see him and you be like, "Hey, I've seen your videos. Hey, I'm a huge fan," he'll embrace you and he'll show his respect right back to you because we appreciate him a bunch, and it's a great event, and he does a great thing for the Eagles for sure.
Yeah, and shout out to Dolan's as well. Shout out to Philly Sports Guy and Dolan's. I mean, they both put on a show every year. So it should be a good afternoon, a nice fun time. I'm going to be driving down from the shore here in a little bit. I'm debating if I want to have a coffee for the car ride or not. If I want to, shit myself or something, Matt, we'll find out. But all jokes aside, I don't want to get quite into some of our other topics yet. But one thing we have in common that not a lot of you guys know is, as you can see, Matt is not shy on investing his money into his rival Philadelphia teams. So we've already converted him on one of them as a whole, being the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yes.
Let's go, KJ.
I am responsible. I am the person that baptized him in to the Philadelphia 76ers. And I know there's going to be some Knicks fans like Segalo in the comments. That's a disgrace to New York sports. Well, JJ, wake up. You root for the freaking Rams that are in LA, and you got mad at him for wearing a San Francisco 49er jersey saying, that's my field.
My stadium.
My stadium? That's in freaking LA. You never been there, buddy, so shut up. But, yeah, I think it's great that they're maybe bringing back Kelly Oubre. There's talks about it. You have to bring him back. I think he loves the city. I mean, you've seen the fan interactions he has with the city. I think he loves this city in general. So, I mean, and he was just such a great player, and he brought the energy every game, and he was having his best season statistically. I mean, he was over 20 plus points a game. He said he felt his best he's ever played in his career, and he's been a role player for years, but now he's looking like he could be a third star for the Sixers team. But hopefully we get that third star and he could be that fourth star because he'll realize that, he's got to be the fourth star in this kind of with this kind of team. Because hopefully Tobias is gone, Tobas. Yes. Hopefully he's gone and he's out of his way. I'll tell you one thing. My brother said this: if Tobias Harris is back in the Sixers, he's done. My brother said he's done. And I said, I don't blame you. I said, I'll just be suffering through it because I'm a Sixers fan until I die. But
so your brother's revoking fandom, I guess, is what you're saying there. I just want to make sure
he really is.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Against Tobias Harris, and Matt knows too. I mean, he's seen the stress that Tobias Harris has put on all of us Sixers fans, right? For sure. And Kelly Oubre hasn't done that for us. Kelly Oubre has played every game like it's his last, which I love. Right. He just plays with energy, and we need him back here. We do. What do you think, Matt?
I agree with what you said. He's a great player, and he brings the energy. You're right.
He does. Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh, that's what I like to say every time he scores. Dude is fun to watch. I think that there was a post I saw online that was like, riot until Kelly Oubre comes back. Yeah. And that's how all Sixers fans should feel. Because this guy, I think, honestly, for me, there's only 3 guys that, are indisposables, I guess you could say, on the Sixers for me right now. You got Embiid, Maxey, Oubre. That's it for me. If it's not one of those 3 guys, I don't really care. Everybody else can go. I'm not attached to them. It's nothing personal. It's nothing against them. It's just Kelly Oubre was such an integral piece for the Sixers, not just throughout, the season, but especially in the beginning of the year too. He was really hot. That I think that it's worth it for the Sixers to bring him back. Young guy too, so let's do it. But speaking of Philly sports transitioning a little bit, best team in baseball being our Philadelphia Phillies. Now, last night, obviously, was not the best. Extra innings loss. Never want to see that. Nope. But sweeping the Rangers earlier in the week, I mean, this team is convincingly good. The only other team I think that you could argue in the MLB that gives the Phillies a run for their money would be maybe the Dodgers. The Yankees have been okay this year, but definitely I would not say as consistent as the Phillies or the Dodgers. So
They're close,
give me the
though.
Phillies.
The Yankees are
They're
actually
close.
they're very close, and
but not there, I would say. I mean, I think that there's a degree of separation between the
they're
Phillies
also
and the
in
Dodgers.
the American League, so we don't really have to worry about them. But if we do have a World Series matchup, that could be a team that we could be matching up with and getting a rematch against, like in 09, and that would be amazing because there's so many fans here, I feel like, that have a bitter taste in their mouth from that 09 World Series that would love to see a Yankees and Phillies World Series. I know Matt went to one of those games.
Yeah, I went to the first game of that World Series.
Yeah.
I would not want to see that. I'm kind of scared. I think that the Yankees have Yankees, if they make it to the World Series, they are not a team I want to see in the World Series.
I don't want to hear anything about scaredness. We're not scared. We're not wussies. Okay, I don't want to hear that. We're Philadelphia sports fans, so we don't say we're scared ever. We don't say that. Nope, that's a violation.
There you go.
Yeah, so we're not scared of the Yankees. I'm telling you that right now. And I got a good friend named Mikey D, who is a Yankees fan. And I've told him this too. I'm not scared of the Yankees. Not scared of Aaron Judge. Not scared of Stanton. Not scared of Juan Soto either. So, you know what? I'm not scared of the Yankees. I'm not. So,
you sure about that?
I'm very sure about that. I'm not scared of anything. You don't need to be scared.
I'm scared of them. I'm scared of them.
Don't have to be a Delaware wussy. So, yeah.
Especially if you get to the postseason, if all those guys are playing hot, that's when I would be afraid of them. But regardless, I think we all agree on the Phillies are by far the best team in baseball and have an expectation now to go into the postseason far with the way they're playing. I think that they're projected at least over 100 wins, obviously. I don't know what the other stat I saw the other day was, but I think it was like something like teams with 100 wins, X amount go to the World Series, same thing. So they have that expectation now. You know what I mean? People are expecting them to be in the World Series this year. People are expecting a parade on Broad Street. People are hoping, that they can get another one of those awesome red hats that I saw my guy KJ wear the other day with the World Series patch on the side. That a World Series opens up a whole other economy in Philadelphia for merchandise specifically, but just, food places too, they start doing things. So I think that the Phillies have seen it once. They know what it feels like to lose, to get there and choke. They know what it feels like to get close and choke last year. So I think third time's the charm, and they can finally put it together this year for us. Pivoting though, so I was last night talking with a cousin of mine named Zachary, and he has a buddy named Richie. Richie's hilarious, the man. If you guys haven't seen my Snapchat story, he's the guy that was busting Baltimore Grills balls in my story last night. But point being, me and Richie were talking about Philly sports, and he said, I think by the end of this year, we could have 2 parades, 2 championships, one for the Eagles, one for the Phillies. We just talked about the Phillies' expectations. Now pivoting to the Eagles, they're starting to hit the ground running with some of these younger guys, and I'm loving watching it. Love this draft. I think that they hit it out of the park. Now you need to put these guys actually to work. They need to prove what you got them for. Not just in, rookie OTAs or rookie camp, whatever you want to call it, but down the season, down the line. That was one thing. As much as I love Nolan Smith, and I think he's going to turn into a beast for the Eagles, it may have been because of injury last year. It may have been because of a couple of different determining factors. But Nolan Smith was pretty non-existent last year for the Eagles. So I want to see these rookies develop. I want to see them develop fast. I believe that the NFL got rid of a preseason game as well. We have a preseason game, I think, on August 1st, somebody told me. Like, the season is right around the corner, guys. June 1st is about to be here, and that's 60 days out. So as quickly as we lose football, it comes back with a couple of new faces.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be a really exciting season, and we've been really excited about this season. I'm pumped, and I think they have a great team on paper. I don't know if you saw these photos. I sent this to Matt actually too. I was just showing him because he's a football fan as well. AJ Brown, I don't know if you saw this, Dalton, but he's freaking shredded. I mean, he is like he had a crazy off. He's having a crazy off season. but he's back in the gym and he is just he looks like freaking Megatron. Like it is freaking insane. He is going to be bullying defensive backs in this league this upcoming year. So I cannot wait to see him just moss people all freaking day once again. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. But yeah, this team on paper, I mean, like they got a really good team. It's just a matter of if they can really put all the pieces together. And that's what the main thing is with the Eagles. I think they have the talent, but sometimes you have the talent, but then you can't mix all the pieces together and something goes wrong. But I really do think that this team can do that. I think it's a better chance that this team will be successful than be a bust. I think this will be more of a successful operation. I do.
I think so too. Sorry. As the bike pump, you guys can probably hear in the background like a solid humming. You can't? That means that the AirPods are awesome. That's perfect. But yeah, I mean, the one thing I'm excited to see as well this season is how does Sirianni act? This is a big make or break season for Nick Sirianni, in my opinion, maturity-wise. You need to be able to read the room, Nick. Sometimes you can't always be the hype man in players' faces. You know what I mean? Like hyping people. Sometimes I need that. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I think most of the time that's great in football. But there's times where I think you needed to be more of an adult is the way I'll put it. I love you to death. Best coach in the NFL. But that Super Bowl, when Jalen Hurts had to calm me down, I always go back to that. I want to see how does Nick Sirianni react this year. Does he seem a little bit more tame, a little bit more mature now that he's been around, now that he's respected in the league, or does he still have that same fiery temper that most of the time I think is an asset, sometimes can be a little bit of a liability. But it's a big season for Nick.
I think that brings up a good point as well, because what you were saying about the maturity from Nick Sirianni, and I hope he's kind of learning from both situations, and they're both having to do with Kansas City. When we were leading the Chiefs in that Super Bowl, you did see Sirianni get a little bit full of himself. He got a little bit too hyped before the game was even over, and Jalen Hurts had to calm him down. And then fast forward, we lose that Super Bowl, but then we played him again, and we win that game in the regular season, and he's celebrating, and he's saying, Kansas City, look what happened now. It's like, dude, you're a coach. Shut up, please. Like, we all respect you. It's just like, dude, please just don't do that stuff. You're jinxing us. I'm not a full believer in jinxing, but with that kind of situation, I think it kind of is like a situation of jinxing, because then you just get so full of yourself, and then that gives an edge to the other side of the other side, and that's the other team, the opposing team. So that's where I feel like Nick Sirianni hopefully can learn from these mistakes. Maybe he hears us and other fans kind of stress it, like, okay, don't get too confident, whatever, because those right there, I mean, those were crucial. I mean, we could have had it. We were I told this Matt yesterday. I said, It's crazy that we were 3 points away from, I mean, if we didn't fumble that ball, we would have had a parade. If we didn't dude, if we didn't have that hold that Chase Bradbury had,
phantom hold.
Yeah. So it is what it is, and you got to deal with it. And you just got to move on from it. And that's what Nick Sirianni should have done, but he obviously didn't. And that's where it shows that, like, all right, the Eagles are giving you another opportunity, where like a bunch of Eagles fans, like majority of them were like, I want this guy out of here. But you know what? The Eagles believe in you, because you did bring us to a Super Bowl. I mean, you have made the playoffs all 3 years, which is obviously last year wasn't the best performance, and we did have a horrible collapse, but he has made it 3 of the first year. He's not missed a playoff. He hasn't missed.
You know what happens the year after we lose to the Bucs in the playoffs too, with Nick Sirianni? We go to a Super Bowl.
Hopefully, yeah. Right. You are right. That is right.
Year one, lose to Brady. Year 2, Super Bowl. Year 3, lose to Baker. Year 4, win Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, could be. So we'll see what happens. We will. It should be exciting. And as you said before, it's going to be here sooner than we thought. Like it's going to be here in a blink of an eye.
It will be for sure. Yeah. Now, KJ and Matt, I will go ahead and let you guys take this first. Chris sent us a list as well. We may have to play it next week, just because running into a bunch of technical difficulties, and then I got to get on the road here in a little bit to make sure we can be at PSG's event. But toughest and weakest Philly athletes. I will go ahead and kick it to KJ McCoy first and Matt.
Yes. All right. So Matt's gonna know. I actually mentioned this person. We were driving on Broad Street and we saw one woman with a certain T-shirt of a certain player, a certain douchebag.
Douchebag. Yes.
Yeah, a certain
That's the word we
douchebag
were looking for.
named Ben Simmons,
fraud.
the Australian piece of crap. Not saying Australian people are. I like Australian people, but Ben Simmons is a disgrace to Australia. He has been a disgrace. Ben Simmons is such a fraud. I mean, not even training on your three-point shot, not investing when the team tried to get you a coach, a really distinguished coach in Philadelphia sports in Herb McGee, who was a coach, I believe, that was with one of the schools here in Philadelphia. But he's a legend for sure. And he was going to help Ben Simmons out. And Ben Simmons declined it because that's how much of a I guess you could say, unmotivated athlete Ben Simmons is. He only cares about being in LA and dating the stars.
Ego.
So there's bugs in here.
Yeah.
Thank God. There's freaking bugs in here. A lot of gnats, just like Ben Simmons, freaking bothering us.
Exactly.
But yes, he is one of the weakest athletes. I think he's one of the weakest athletes for sure. Another athlete that comes to mind, I can tell you this, is always going to be, and I mentioned him last week, is Nnamdi Asomugha. I think Nnamdi Asomugha is still one of the weakest athletes I've seen for Philly athletes. Another weak athlete, I got to think of some more. I mean, because I just didn't make a list. But those are the guys that come to my mind.
Yeah, just say a few that come to the top of the dome. Matt, you got a few?
What about you, Matt? What do you think?
Pretty much the only weakest Philly athlete I got is Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Simmons probably. And Tobas.
Oh yeah, Tobas.
Yeah, Tobias Harris.
So those two guys were on my list as Sixers.
Yeah.
You know who I also had on my list that I think you guys are gonna like, KJ? Marcus Smith. Remember that dude?
Oh yeah.
The edge rusher that the Eagles had that was supposed to be a stud, I believe, out of Michigan, and he just ended up being horrendous. So if we're talking about weak Philly athletes, letdown, disappointment, my number one would have to be Marcus Smith because he was supposed to be this guy. I would not put Derek Barnett there. Derek Barnett was hit or miss. That's the thing about Derek Barnett that you can't say because Derek Barnett did hit. That's why, like, a couple of days ago when we made the post on Zippin Sports, there was a post and it was like, show a player that, you know, your emotions would be on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And we put Derek Barnett, and some people were like, why'd you put Derek Barnett? He had the fumble pick up in the Super Bowl. And it's like, he did, but that's the whole point of the post. It's an emotional roller coaster. There's highs and there's lows. Keep in mind how many penalties that guy gave us. A lot. So if you agree with that, do me a favor, drop a like on the video for us. But transitioning now to some of the tougher guys, and we can go back to them. We don't have to just stay with the tougher. Don't worry. But
I'll give you my tough.
Lane Johnson is somebody who I think has been getting a lot of recognition that he deserved. And looking at what he's done playing on a torn groin in that Super Bowl and just powering through it for the city time and time again, despite all the mental health stuff that he deals with that he's very open about too. I love Lane. It's good to see, him getting his cape. People showing him love that he deserves because Lane Johnson is a treasure to Philadelphia sports, my friends. He's somebody that we should not take for granted because a right tackle, any tackle in football, is a position that when it's gone, you're going to notice it. Your quarterback's going to notice it. Go ask Joe Burrow what it was like playing without a left. Go ask his knees what it was like playing without a left tackle. It sucks. It's horrible. So if you want to talk about the toughest guy in Philly sports, I think it's got to be some kind of a lineman because line in football is such a tough position where you just got to show up again and again. I would say Bryce Harper's up there for me. Just a consistent guy, no matter what he has going on in his life, he figures out a way to show up. Those are definitely, two of my guys that come to my mind. Who do you got, KJ?
Yeah, I would say for toughest athletes, I will say one thing, and I know that this might get me some heat, but I will say this. even though he makes me aggravated, and every year we have the same problem with him and the Sixers. I feel like Joel Embiid is tough, and the only thing is because he plays through a lot of injuries. He has banged up knees. He's got a lot of injury problems. If you think about it, he literally was told by doctors not to play, and he still played. Obviously, we didn't get the outcome that we wanted. Obviously, we didn't make it past the first round of the NBA playoffs. But it is what it is. I still think Joel Embiid is a tough guy. Is he tough in the mindset of getting it done in the playoffs though? Not yet. I wouldn't say not yet because obviously we haven't made it past the second round. But he is a tough guy. You got to give it to him. But then also I would say this, Bryce Harper is a perfect example as a tough athlete in Philadelphia sports. The guy is gritty. The guy.
Hold on, a special guest wants to give.
Hey, Papa Holland, what's going on?
He said, "Hey," I asked him really quick. I said, "Who's your?" Not to interrupt you. Sorry. He said, "Just come here and explain it. Like, just use this and explain it."
Let's hear this.
I got a concussion because he was fucking people up. The other was Mike Zordich. Go Google that shit.
I don't know if you guys heard that.
I
Andre Waters and Mike Zordich were his answers for your toughest Philly athletes. How about some hockey players, Matt?
Oh,
You're like the hockey Wikipedia over there.
Oh, you got to go with that. Actually reminds me. You got to go with Bobby Clark as a tough Philly athlete. Bobby Clark, Eric Lindros, Bobby Clark, Bernie Perrant as well.
Oh my God, Bernie Perrant is a great answer.
Would tell me say Bernie Perrant, Bobby Clark as well. I know right now PSG is probably very proud that we said Bernie Perrant or Bobby Clark as well.
Former Islanders on that list too.
They're not Philly athletes. They're not. We're not talking about New York.
Know.
I'm kidding. But yes.
Back up there, would you?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, also another weak athlete I can think of too. You could think of two other Eagles as well, and one guy that was actually drafted as a firefighter. I don't know. He was a firefighter. Dalton. Danny Watkins. Danny Watkins was a weak link. I feel like in Philly sports. He really was barely here. He was a top 5 pick for the Eagles, an offensive lineman, and he sucked. He was horrible. And then he went back to firefighting like he should. So he did that, and he's saving some people out of fires. You know what? That's what he's better at. That's great. You know what? We salute him to it. But was he a good football player? No, he wasn't. He's horrible. Jalen Reagor. Man.
Butterfingers.
Yeah, Butterfingers. Oh
Butterfingers, according to our good friend Chaos Chris.
Oh my gosh. I bet we have some if we got a video from Chaos Chris, he would probably go off hours about this guy. He would go off on him.
The videos he made were funny as hell.
They were. Yeah. They were legendary.
Oh, Jalen Reagor drops it again.
Dude, it was just horrible to see him play, man, because like to hear and think it's not Justin Jefferson and see ESPN literally be just like, yeah, it's Jalen Reagor. And then actually see how bad this guy is was just, it was so painful. It was so painful. So he was horrible. He was a weakling, and that's just how it is.
Imagine how I felt as an LSU fan.
Oh, like I was an LSU fan back then too. So
how mad I was in that moment.
Yes, too.
I remember just being so upset. And I feel bad kind of for Jalen Reagor in a way, because I feel like if Jalen Reagor was drafted in the 3rd or 4th round, he'd just magically be a stud because that mental thing wouldn't have been there. You know what I mean? Like that pressure almost. But, you know, it was just a shitty scenario all around. It was Howie Roseman thinking he was the smartest guy in the room. It was Jalen Reagor not, showing up when he needed to. And it was Philly sports fans, unfortunately, being Philly sports fans, as we know. I mean, I'm one of them. I made a lot of videos hating on Jalen Reagor, but it just didn't work out in the end. And it's unfortunate. My favorite was in the preseason game. I have to find the video. There was a video of it. And you guys know those massage guns.
The massager. I saw that. Yeah.
And
that's
he has like
the massager.
Yeah. He's literally like BG's holding the massage gun like on his neck or something, you know what I mean? Like normal. And then Jalen Reagor takes it and he starts massaging his eyebrows. It's like, bruh, what are you doing? Like, what does this relate to football?
Maybe he's trying to help his mental. Like, he's trying to like be like, okay, wake up, brain.
Honestly, he's probably trying to seriously quiet down his brain, like like an Ambien or a Tylenol because all the Philly fans screaming at him throughout the game, "You suck." It's probably true.
Yeah, of course. I think so.
But I think we pretty much covered everything now, guys. We talked about the Eagles. We talked about the Phillies being the best team in baseball. Talked about Oubre coming back. And last but not least, if you guys are not going to be there today, come hang out with us at Philly Sports Guys event in Ridley. That's why we're doing a little bit shorter of a show today, a little bit more casual. I don't have my microphone or anything because it's Memorial Day weekend too. So if you guys are down at the shore, if you guys are at home, be safe, have fun. Enjoy a Phillies hopefully win tonight, not an extra innings loss. That sucked. But
thank the people, thank the veterans that honestly keep us here. I mean, they keep us alive. The ones that we lost, obviously, in many wars. So rest in peace to them, and just think about them and their families, of course, because it's also, you think of it as a holiday weekend. You think, oh, you're having fun, but then you also got to realize in the back of your head that you wouldn't be here without them. And that's the main thing about Memorial Day weekend. You got to remember. And I'm just saying that from the heart, seriously. Because I do really respect veterans and any guys that have sacrificed themselves for this country. So thank you. Oh, there you go.
We got a little comment here on our way out, and thank you for doing that.
Don't remind me of that game. I was sitting there watching with my mom.
Why is a Mets fan on the pod? W. Siegel.
I don't know. KJ's got a roommate for the weekend. I don't know if he's paying KJ rent or not.
It was for a night. He said some stuff about the Phillies already, and I threatened to chuck him in the Schuylkill River a couple times. I told the Eagles pro shop was asking, they were like, so what do you guys do? What are you doing here? Like, are you lost? Did you get on the wrong train? What happened?
Did you get any videos of that? Because that would have been hilarious.
I was looking at hats, and I did not. Yeah. And I said to the guys, I said, hey, I'm with them. You know what? I already threatened to throw him in the Schuylkill River. I said, if anything else happens, you guys didn't hear anything, and I chucked him in the Schuylkill River. And he said, good job. Good job. That's awesome. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting today to see all of this New York stuff turn into Philadelphia stuff, and we'll see what PSG's reaction to it is because, I don't know. He freaked out on me when I wore a USA jersey in an Islanders game, which really
don't wear the USA.
But you're a Philly fan, so he cares about you. He doesn't care about Matt. Matt is trash to him. He's a New York fan.
Oh, I think
he's a New York fan.
Yeah. I think he appreciates Matt.
He don't care about New York fans.
Driving through traffic to get here.
Well, yeah, Matt didn't drive, but yeah.
Well, my dad
did. We do appreciate Papa Bear. We do appreciate Papa Bear.
I do. I appreciate him a lot. So,
all right. Well, hey, that's all we got for you guys.
We'll see.
I got to get on the road sometime here soon, but we appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you guys haven't, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. That is the best way to thank us. If you guys are watching us on Facebook, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe over there and all that good stuff. And like these guys said, at 2:00 today, we will be at the Philly Sports Guys event supporting him for the 2025, if not 2024, Philadelphia Eagles Autism Challenge. See you guys on the other side. As always, God bless, go Birds, and come out and hang out.
Maury.
I will make it my goal in life to convert Matt into a real Philadelphia Phillies fan.